You rock my world.
So I'm going to break this grill in this morning by cooking some Cowboy coffee. Won't need this firebox for smoking till tonight when I do the salmon. But we'll have to put some charcoal in there and move that charcoal pan. You're going to have to move that up. Nice. Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to my channel. We're finally getting to it. A Cowboy coffee. Going to be cooking it on the grill today. Let me introduce you to the parts. Well, of course, we got the grill, which is a Master Forge, I guess it is, from Lowe's. I got such a good deal on it. I couldn't just pass it up. It was a display model, and it was dirt cheap. So I got that. Got my fire starters. Probably be using this one because I got to go around the bottom of the charcoal chimney. But if I had just a little bit of brush, which I could go down and get pine needles and stuff, but I'm not going to do that. I would use this just because that'll start a fire. Guaranteed 100% of the time you should see the spark on that thing. In fact, I may spark it just so you can see. Then I got some gloves. These were actually the best welding gloves that I use for barbecuing and especially with cast iron. When the cast iron gets really hot, picking up frying pans, or if I'm seasoning it and I get it up to damn close to 600 degrees, these are the only things that worked. I had a set of I can't even remember the name of it right now. DeWalt, highly rated. What are they called? Welding gloves. But I burnt the hell out of my finger picking up the cast iron skillet with those DeWalts on. These work perfect. Couldn't even tell it was that hot underneath. So those I use to, if I have to move any charcoal around. I don't have a good rod or charcoal, whatever, tools or anything like that, so I'll just be moving them around with the thongs. So what else we got over here? Got my coffee pot. Yes, that's a percolator, but I take the guts out of it, and I rarely make percolated coffee. I'm going to have to get myself a good pot that doesn't have a brim like this because it's so hard to deal with Cowboy coffee when you've got this overhanging brim, whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to get me an actual campfire pot. I already ground my coffee. I use Black Rifle because I'm out of my own coffee beans. Got to get my roaster back from a friend. Loaned it to. And got my cup when I'm ready. Got a 1/4 measuring cup because it's going to be 1 quart of water to 1 cup of coffee grounds. Now these aren't fine. These are kind of like they're not coarse. They're kind of medium. But the coarser the coffee, the longer you have to brew it. Got my quart of water, and I got something to decant the remaining coffee in because you don't want it to be sitting on the grounds at all after you're done, because it will just keep getting stouter and stouter till it gets bitter. Then I got an axe. Just always have an axe and in this case, a gherkin knife handy in case I have to go out and chop any limbs down and actually use wood. Right over there is where my fire pit and outdoor cooking setup is going to be. And that's it. Let's get started. All right, let me do a test of if you can see me or not. But here's our charcoal starter, and what you do with that normally, turn it upside down. Newspaper is best. You'd wad up 2 sheets of newspaper, Stuff it in the bottom. You don't want to pack it too tight because you got to have air breathing around around it in order to catch everything on fire. So I'll put 2 of them in there. Hopefully that's going to work. Got our charcoal. I got lump charcoal. I love wood and lump charcoal. Just has a better flavor, and I'll tell you what, this stuff burns hotter anyway. Hope that's not too bright. Wasted. That'll be okay. Okay, I'm back. I was wearing the gaucho hat, but I decided to switch because this is the hat I was originally going to wear. So we want to get this lit up. Hope there's enough paper in there to do that. Might not have enough fuel in here. Ah! Yeah, I'm getting another one. There we go. This one looks like it's got lots of fuel. Okay. So one thing I didn't check, and it's out of fuel. All right, so now we got fuel. And of course the wind is blowing toward me, so this will be fun. Unless I turn this around, which might be a better idea. Let's do that. Otherwise I'm going to have that blowing in my face the whole time. They say it takes about 15 minutes, but I didn't fill that charcoal chimney up to the top, so should be faster than that. Well, let's get some other stuff ready while we're waiting for that. 1 quart of water. That's what we're going to use. 1 quart of water, 1/4 cup of coffee grounds. And like I said, finer grounds don't have to cook as long. Coarser grounds a little bit longer. The ideal thing is you want to get this thing boiling for 4 minutes, and then you can adjust a little bit longer if you like it a little more stout. But again, you don't want to go too long because you don't want it bitter either. 4 minutes to boil it for 4 minutes to get the acid out. You know that feeling you get when you drink coffee, some of you, like I do, because I eat such hot food and stuff, my stomach lining's not that great anymore. But I get a sour stomach if I eat any acidic coffee. So that means lighter roasts. That's why I always use dark roast. And I cook my coffee for 4 minutes when I'm doing things like this. You can't hardly do that when you're doing a pour over. You can do it when you can definitely steep it long enough when you're doing French press. But any other coffees, they just don't cook long enough to get the acid out. Let's cover some finer points of Cowboy coffee while we're waiting. Yeah, well, there's a couple ways to make the Cowboy coffee. I cook the grounds, boil the grounds in the coffee so they get cooked, so I lose that acidity. Some folks will boil the water, get it to boiling, take it off for 30 seconds, get it down to 200 degrees. Then they'll pour the coffee grounds in and just steep it basically for 4 minutes. But that doesn't get rid of all that acid, in my personal opinion. I already did the course of the grind. I go 1 cup to 1 quart. That's about 2 tablespoons per 8 ounces of water. Whatever you do, don't bring your water level up above the bottom of the spout. You want to get the grounds inside the spout and all that. Besides, it'll boil right out the top if you do. Most people who do any kind of boiling in a coffee pot know that anyway. And I covered boiling for 4 minutes in minimum to eliminate the acid, which can cause upset stomachs. It does in me. Too much boiling will lead to bitterness. I like to boil mine for about 5-6 minutes. That seems to be perfect. I like strong coffee anyway, so that works for me. Now we got some, I can turn this back around once it's cooking, but I think I burnt up all the paper and it ain't ready. Shoot. All right. And it isn't ready. That paper burned really fast. So we're gonna do something I didn't want to do. I'm gonna put some more paper over here. Those coals did not start like they're supposed to. It's probably too windy. Burnt through that paper very quick. So I'll just start it up again right here in a pile and put that thing over the top of it. Kind of cheating. It should work. It should work. Yeah, that might work. Save that paper just in case. Yeah. I need. Okay. Oh, it's doing better. I don't know if it'll have to do it a third time or not, but it's doing better. Well, it doesn't seem to be heating up the water very fast at all. So we're going to do it. We probably don't have enough coals on here. We're going to set this right in the coals. Right on the coals. And we'll get a few more bricks in there. Oh, a little bit of a runny nose out here. Trying to perform miracles. This was definitely an experiment. Let's try that. Don't lose it. Lose it. Now we can try that. See if it's getting warm. No. It's not ice cold, but it ain't warm either. This may take a while. This might not work. May have needed a lot more coals and just surrounded that pot in coals. Yeah, once it boils to where you want it to, say 6 minutes in my case, take it off the flame, let it sit for 30 seconds before you do anything else. Now, I'm going to have to run inside and get a cup or a cup and a half of ice cold water, because that's how you make those grounds settle to the bottom. After you take it off the flame, you pour in down the spout some nice cold water, about a quarter cup, and it causes those grounds to sink right to the bottom. Then you can decant that without getting a bunch of grounds in your coffee. 1 or 2 grounds, not going to hurt anything. Come on. If you ever decanted anything, you can do it smoothly. Just do it gentle. People say, well, you have grounds in your coffee. Not necessarily. Not the way I pour it. That's operator malfunction if you got grounds in your coffee. And like I said, as soon as it's done and you've poured your first cup of coffee, pour it into something. Mason jar. I use this $100,000 Stanley thermos nowadays. Oh, those coals are nice and hot. So what we're going to do now, I think we're good. That should do the trick. A couple more minutes on that big piece that's at the top. All right. Now just dump those things right out. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, let's don't start a fire anywhere, please. Get the grid back on there. What I do the other one? Oh, there it is. Now, hopefully it's high enough to be able to heat up that pot. We're going to see. We're about to find out. Being the first time I've ever done this on, not directly over a fire, in a fire pit, or actually putting the pot down into the coals. We'll see how this goes. Did I say? Oh yeah, I told you about that. It is a percolator, but I don't percolate. I just use it for water. On occasion, I'll make a percolated cup, because that's how my dad made coffee all the time when we were growing up. So it just brings back memories. So I'll percolate a pot every now and then. Okay, water finally started getting warm enough that way. So I'm gonna put the coffee grounds in. And we're just gonna let it sit there until one day it boils. Yeah, next time I'm gonna even out, put the coals around and make a little spot for the coffee pot to sit down inside. That's gonna go a lot better. Now I'm gonna say I don't recommend you do it this way. I just wanted to do it over coals. I would suggest over an open fire if you got a pot that'll do that. If you've got burners on your stove, that's a good way to do it. But otherwise, electric stoves work. Everything works. Just I like open fires and charcoal. So wanted to experiment with this, and it's going to take forever. But I learned a lesson. Next time I'm going to put a lot more coals in there and just stick that pot right in the coals. That should do the trick. Well, folks, it turned out to be some really good coffee. I would have probably added a few more grounds. Cooked it 6 minutes instead of 4, which I cooked it for 4 only because I boiled it for 4, only because it took so darn long. It took so darn long the way I had this set up. Next time, you live and learn. Next time I'll be this just with those few coals closing this lid. It got up to 200 degrees and back down. Just with that much coal, which ain't very much. But next time I'll have my one experience doing it on charcoal behind my belt, under, or whatever you call it, under your belt. And next time I'm gonna put the pot directly into the coals. That's how I would cook cast iron cornbread or biscuits anyway. You dig you a fire pit, fill it with coals, and put the pots down in the pit, right into the charcoals. So, and then cover the lid on if you're using a cooker with a lid on it, you put the coals on the lid too, so you get a nice even heat in your cast iron. But like I said, next time I'll have it set up better. I'll have tested my procedures a little better, and I'll know exactly on that campfire, on that coals, I need to boil it for 6 minutes. I need to add a little bit more grounds. So the coffee's a little weak for me, but probably fine for most folks. It's really good though. So I'm sorry you didn't get to see me decant and all that stuff, but I lost a lot of footage as well because I forgot to turn it back on. I was in a hurry, and I went inside, took everything inside, poured the cold water down the spout, dropped those, and I don't have a, I mean, you can't tell, but I don't got a single coffee ground in that coffee, and I cook my coffee directly in the water. So it's just a matter of technique. That's it. That part worked beautifully. Not strong enough for me, or I should say stout enough for me. 6 minutes, a little more coffee grounds. And definitely cook it in the coals, because that took a long time. Thank you for watching. See you on the next one. Exit 61 out. Good coffee.
You rock my world, baby. You rock my